Hi, this is Gary from Folder Fill Software again. And what we're going to do with this little session is just take a brief spin with Folder Fill and demonstrate what its capabilities are in part. For now, what we've done is put together a folder of templates that you can see highlighted here. And in that folder, there are the following uh, documents that we have produced in Word, and they are now saved with having already built in all of the prompt features that we want uh, folder fill to handle for us, such things as name and address, uh, phone number, you name it, anything that would be consistently used across all of these different documents that we see listed here in this control. Uh, let's just go into one of them to take a look and see how the document looks, and maybe show you what a folder fill prompt would look like. So we'll go ahead and open the affidavit here. And this may take just a moment to load Word. Here it is. Affidavit of non-cancellation. And as you can see, it looks like a pretty standard document. But for instance, if I highlight this line right here, you will see that there is a prompt here. It is built of a left and right bracket, and in between those brackets is the name of the prompt. In this case, the name is county. And you can also see down here, we've also added a few more prompts right here for street, city, state, and zip. Now, the state prompt is a special prompt. I call this a global prompt because of the preceding asterisk which precedes the name of the prompt itself. And what this instructs folder fill to do is that once it sees this designation of a asterisk followed by the rest of the prompt name, it's going to save that prompt. It's going to save the data that you wish to replace this prompt with in the document. When it's processed and produced, it's going to save the value. So the state may be perhaps Colorado, or any other state for that matter, and whatever that is, that becomes the value of the global prompt, and that gets saved into the system for use later. Back at the next time you run this, you'll see the effects in just a minute when I go ahead and produce the output. So we're not going to change anything here. We'll go ahead and close this document, but that's a good demonstration as to what a folder fill prompt is and what it's consistent of. It's really a place that you designate on your form, or your document I should say, where a certain piece of information is going to be mapped into, such as the street, city, state, or zip, or whatever you may have. We're going to close that now. And now the next thing that we're going to do, we've got all these prompts set up for all these different documents. In this case, the real-world application, and I haven't produced all the documents for this demo, but some of them. This is for, say, a real estate investor who works with short sales. And there are a lot of documents that such a person would need to get filled out and signed by the home seller, and for that reason they would want they would have a very good use for this particular program. So what we're going to do is we're going to we have selected our input folder with all of our template documents in it, and now over on this side we're going to select an output folder. So we can do that very easily by going out here. Let's go to folder fill templates again, keep it kind of in the same area. And now let's go ahead and put in create a new folder, and we're going to call this Joe short sale. And that's going to be the name of a folder, and Joe is our client, so we're going to go ahead and create that folder beneath the folder fill templates that is highlighted. So we click create, verify that this is what we want to do, and of course it goes ahead and creates Joe short sale as a subdocument, or a subfolder I should say. Now we'll simply highlight that. Now we've identified our input folder with our templates here. We've identified our output folder where all the processed information will go as documents, and now we're going to click on continue. And what this step does is it peruses through all of the folders, the template documents in that particular folder, and it goes through and pulls out all of the prompts, and then it's going to display it. Here we go. You can watch it progress by observing it highlight as it goes through the template documents from top to bottom. And this will just take a few seconds. These documents do have an awful lot of prompts, so it does take a little bit of time to get this phase done. It's time well spent, because here in just a second you'll see a representation of all the prompts were found in those documents. Let me first point out, as I highlight this, here is our global prompt. As you recall, I offered that as a global prompt, and there it shows up. And you see it pulled out of its memory bank the fact that the star state prompt is to be filled with Colorado. Wherever that shows up in the template document, Colorado will appear instead in the output folder. So now for county, let's just go ahead and let's take care of this. So now we have all of these prompts. We've just filled in the county. We'll go ahead now and see what this one is. Actually, we've got that off a little bit, so let's adjust our view. The street, let's just put in a street. Then we have our city, Aurora, and on it goes, all the way down the list of prompts. Zip code, etc., etc., etc. You can see there's quite a number of these that we fill out. Anytime that we have a prompt as the process goes forward, creating our documents that we have ignored or have for some reason did not fill in the corresponding replace with information in this column, that column will remain unchanged. So if I don't put anything in zip, then zip will still appear in the form with a opening and closing bracket. In other words, that will remain unchanged. So that's the way that'll be treated. Let's go ahead just with what we've got to produce the information, or all of the documents with the filled in information, and place it in the folder that we created for that purpose for Joe. All we have to do is create documents. We click on that button and off we go. Again, you can gauge the progress of the program by looking in the selected input folder files, and you can watch as the program makes its way from top to bottom. And there it goes. even though this process seems to take quite a bit of time. You can imagine how much time it will save your secretary, or yourself for that matter, if you're the one that has to fill out all these forms by hand separately, not knowing until you've proofed them whether or not you have actually done the whole process error-free. Looks like we're getting down toward the end of the stack. And of course, the whole thing is dependent upon how many prompts you have in and how many documents you have in your input template folder. Of course, the more documents and the more prompts, the longer it will take. And the process is now done. Been a couple of minutes maybe, but now you've got your information. Everything is now going to be in Joe short sale. And let's prove that. Let's go take a look. We'll go into Explorer, remembering that our folder fill templates was where we placed our new folder for Joe's short sale. And here they are. Let's go ahead and open this affidavit again, take another look at that and see what happened. As you can see, the Colorado prompt had Colorado as its map data, and we placed that in there. There's our county, and so that's sort of okay. 123 Anywhere Avenue, Aurora, Colorado. We did not put the zip code in, as you recall, and so bracket zip close bracket remains in the output file, output document, I should say. And so there is our brief description of how to run folder fill and what it does for you. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll get back on the next task momentarily.